So as she said, the name of our company is Adepto Solutions, and we named it so that I get the first opportunity to speak. It doesn't turn out that way all the time. But the good part is that I'll hijack the next 1 hour of your lives because I'm the last speaker, and I'm not going to do that either. Once we set up, I'll take only 10 minutes of your time to discuss what we do. Just so that I have some context, anybody representing brands here? How many represent brands in the audience? One. Agencies? Okay. So anybody who is known or knows about apps, I think this talk is going to be the most relevant to them. And essentially we talk about web apps here. Okay. Awesome. Fantastic. So the name of our product is CrowdNub, and it's a smarter social marketing platform, and hopefully you'll be able to see the smartness in the next 10 minutes or so. So to explain what CrowdNub is, I'll just take a use case, right? So let's say I have a website which deals in movie merchandise, and it's called Movies Always, and I have to engage the people who come to my website. I have rich content across different movies and genres. But my core product is movie merchandise. And because of the nature of my business, I also have a Facebook, highly engaged Facebook channel. I have 1 million+ fans, and from all geographies. So this being the case, I have a small team of social media strategists, let's say 3 of them. And then we all understand that what we need to achieve is increase virality, increase engagement time, and also promote movie merchandise, right? So there's already a lot of science set on how you want to do it. So increasing virality, there are primarily 3 aspects of it. One is that you have to have great content. Nobody can dispute that. The second thing is you can use technology that will leverage new elements like Open Graph 2 protocols on Facebook, right? And then depending on how young or big a brand you are, you could say, I would do the distribution via paid or organic. So MTV has 4 million fans. If they want to say something, they can simply post a wall message. But a younger brand would have to do Facebook ads, right? Engagement time can be increased by content strategies. Again, brands understand this very well. They know how many tweets they need to do per day, blah, blah, which day they'll talk about what, and things like that. And then if you also encourage gamification around content, then people will likely spend more time with your brand. So that's how you can increase engagement. And promote movie merchandise. Again, the concept here is to target the right content to the right segment. Now, how do you do all this, right? Then the second person in my social team would say, we can't do it all on the wall. And I'm only taking a Facebook as an example here. Our platform is, our solution is platform agnostic. He would say, we need to do apps. Web apps are a good way to achieve these goals. We say, wonderful. So we would sit down and say, let's build multiple web apps, like once a quarter, at least 4 apps in a year. But there's a problem. The problem is that there is user friction with apps. People have to allow apps, right? The second thing is, if you're creating apps, there are long app creation times, right? From anywhere between 2 weeks to 2 months, depending on the complexity. And the third thing is, rich data gets siloed into all these apps. So you're using an app, throwing it away. It won't work after 3 months because it was never built to do that. And then you don't have any access to the data. So if you run a campaign for Valentine's Day and compare results to a Diwali campaign, you can't do it because you have to unearth the content from those apps. It's not there, it's not available. So then the third member says, okay, there's a better way, probably CrowdNub, right? Now how do we do this? It's built on a one app methodology, and we're trying to invert how we think about apps. I'll highlight the entire diagram for you. So you have, CrowdNub works across devices, right? So it's an app, so it's not necessarily a phone app or whatever. It's a web app that works across devices, right? So you have that ubiquity. So somebody might be engaging with the content on the fan page on a desktop, and then action goes out, Open Graph action. Somebody in a cafe will access the same content. So you increase the reach, and you have Open Graph actions built into it for Facebook. So that increases the virality, which was my goal number 1. And what we have is in CrowdNub, you can do sequential engagements, which means you can tell a story. So Mahindra released Quanto car the other day, right? When you describe a car, you can't be an app where you say, look at the car, click here, okay, you entered a sweepstake, right? You'd probably say, okay, you entered in and you show the interiors, the exteriors, what it can do, the engine, blah, blah, right? So that is one thing, and then different rich formats. I'll come to that in a piece, in a bit here. Then you have the entire gamification, points, loyalty, whatever you want to increase that engagement for you. The third most important aspect, so that's my engagement time increases, that's my second social goal fulfilled. The third thing is, you have 1 million fans, if you're talking to them from a wall, you're talking to a homogeneous group, it's just one base of 1 million fans. But then if you're an apparel store, you have a new brand, which is especially for women's apparel coming in. You might want to talk only to your women fans. Similarly, a men's brand might come in. You might just want to talk to your male people, males who are coming to the page. So you have that targeting. Once you have the right targeting, then you can promote and that will have a bigger bang. The risks that we associated with running multiple apps, which is people have to allow multiple apps. It's not a concern here because it is one app within which you're running several campaigns. So you're only allowing the app once. So if your first campaign is a Valentine's Day campaign, that's when you allow the app, and then you don't have to allow the app at all throughout the day because you're building campaigns within that. Second thing is, launch times are minutes, literally, rather than weeks or even months. Because in the original thing, you had to think of content. You had to build an app. Here, you only have to think about the content. Building is just very, very quick. So it's a beautiful CMS through which you can build those campaigns. Third thing is, because it's one app, you have all the data unified into it. So if in my movie merchandise site, if I wanted to say, okay, Batman is a new thing and I have content, I have merchandise around Batman, this is what I would do. I'll create a campaign and people click on the icon or through my wall post link and the app loads within Facebook container and say Batman begins. So first thing I would engage them around, asking them a question around, what is the first movie in which Batman trilogy directed by Christopher Nolan, and say Batman begins. So I'm using an image and trivia along with it. Second, I might show a video, and the engagement format is different. They're not selecting multiple choice, but doing a slider. Third thing is, I ask, which city in the world is shown as a Gotham, is Gotham as in the Dark Knight? So it's a map, they have to locate it on it and do it. Now, look at this format, right? You can build an entire amazing race or a treasure hunt using this one single format. You can run beautiful polls and also take user-generated content to it. I was talking about virtual rewards, and these virtual rewards are tied to Open Graph actions. So if you win a badge, I don't have to manually share it. It would say, Kiran just became a Dark Knight, and that would go onto my stream. One big question is, you say, how do I know who is the most engaged fan? It's very difficult to say, but if you're using an app methodology, then you can see leaderboards and say. So for now, when I say, I have some Batman swag that I have, or T-shirts that I want to sell, who do I target most in my email marketing campaign? These guys, right? Because they are the topmost people when it comes to my Batman content. And then I can also give out rewards through the system. And this, again, works across devices, right? How did I achieve all this? It's just basically through a CMS system, simple CMS system. It's minutes. Once you know what you want to do, it's literally minutes in which your campaign can go live. And tomorrow, if I have a new movie, then I can say, create another campaign, stop this another campaign, and I can change the entire look and feel and start another campaign. So that's all it is. So I still have a minute and a half. Wow, okay. So if you have any questions, happy to take them, but otherwise.